4 minutes until showtime. Three minutes until showtime.
Oh, what was that?
2 minutes until showtime.
All right, let me get back on track here. Somebody emailed me at 11:30 at night. Oh shoot, I gotta do my hosting. So tonight, anybody who watches this live stream, I'm doing a test to find out what's going on with my audio.
1 minute until showtime.
So hopefully a few people will call in. My co-host is going to call in for sure, and I'll be able to use him. But hopefully we'll have a couple of callers so I can really experiment with this because I need to find out what's going on. This is not a real show. It is a test. This is only a test. I'm going to delete this after, Oh, it will help if I get back into the studio. Here we go. Jordan hasn't called in yet. Let me see if I can find something.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
All right. So, as this is only a test, I'm not going to go through the rigmarole of what I usually would do. Jordan, what's going on?
What's up, sir? Can't call it. It's just a test. No need to give out a shout out to whatever, but see if we can test this thing out. And I guess I would say talk about sports a little bit, but if we were going to have any sports.
I don't know. Baseball pretty much said no. And with everything going on in Orlando, that's a big question mark now at this point. I'd be hesitant at this rate as far as putting anybody in any further jeopardy now. So I don't know. With college football, you had half a football team get COVID-19. And you're still getting NFL players getting it, so I don't know. It's iffy at best right now.
Yeah, definitely. But baseball, I did see something where baseball is kind of trying to force the players to go with the original agreement, and it's saying that they want them to report by July 12th or something like that. I don't know. I saw that flashing. I was out and about, but I don't think that's going to go over well. So I don't know what baseball is getting ready to try. I don't know if they're getting ready to try to do another replacement player type deal. I don't know what.
Well, nobody likes threats, and whether or not they're ready to give up. I mean, they've already lost most of their salary for the year, or at least part of it. It'll be July soon. That's when do they usually start? May, June, July. I mean, I don't know. I think they really kind of messed up things from the very beginning, and now they're paying the price, and this is really going to hurt them because this is going to put enough of a bad. I mean, we remember what happened the last full, lockout or whatever. What was that? 94, and it took steroids to get everybody to come back. I don't think there is no steroids coming to bring anybody back this time around. So, it's going to be a while before you see full stands in most cities, even for, our home team Braves. I think a lot of people now are kind of, not apprehensive, but kind of nonchalant about it at this point, even as much as they want to see the Braves do well. And we can say it's not particular players on the Braves or anything, but still they're part of the baseball, So I don't know. This is an ultimatum, basically saying you're going to play or not. And I think a lot of players would be like, well, not then,
Yeah, I think the whole Players Association is going to probably be like they're not. At least not in those changes, at least. They're trying to force them to play up under. I think a lot of fans would love to see baseball on TV. I don't know that a lot of people are just willing to go, rush into the stand. I think you'd have a certain group of people that would go there from. I think to be safe, you shouldn't allow full stadiums anyway. It should be some type of seating restrictions where you can see the family together, but then there has to be, like rows in between, and Like,
I just don't think you can't. I don't think there's no way to regulate that. I mean, you literally would have to eliminate. I mean, think about it. There's still people who hadn't gotten their money back from the first part of this season anyway. Now they're basically saying, well, only a certain number of the season ticket holders, if they have season tickets, get to actually watch games. I don't think there's no way you could regulate that because I mean, just like SunTrust Park,
obviously, if someone had full season tickets, I mean, they're gonna get to go to a game. I was thinking more, like, because I don't know if the Braves have that many season ticket holders to the point to where they could fill up, a half empty stadium. They could fill up half the stadium, or a quarter, a third of the stadium by themselves. I'm saying that obviously season ticket holders will get to go to every game. Now, it may or may not be in the seat that they originally paid for. If you do some type of special seating, to where you can still have space, you know, and you're not piled on top of each other as you would be on a packed house. You know what I mean? But I mean, outside of that, I don't know. I thought what we probably would see the rest of this season for most sports would be, you know, no fans in the stands. At least with the NBA and Orlando, and even with baseball, I thought maybe that's what we may be trying to see, you know, a thing with no fans. Even though I do think it's less of a risk with the outdoor venues, but it's still, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's still, I mean, for the players, I don't think most of them are healthy, and if they don't have any other kind of major health risk, I don't think most of them have to worry about dying from COVID. I mean, I have yet to hear any athlete get really, really sick from COVID. And I mean, we've had quite a few that have caught it. I mean, yeah, some of them said that they did feel sick. All of them, not all were asymptomatic, but it seems like most of those people were either asymptomatic or had mild symptoms. Because I just think people that are healthy like that usually just don't get it. But those, you know, obviously, if you're out and about, whether you're a ball player or not, you have to be careful about the older people in your life and not passing it on. You know, making sure you're very, you know, you sanitize before you go see, you know, your mom or your grandparents. You know what I mean? Thing of that nature. It's a tough thing, but I think they'll be all right in terms of catching it. But I can see those who, like, especially have family members that are vulnerable being very skeptical. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's the whole deal with the NBA and other leagues, because, you know, they're talking about going in this bubble, but you got employees supposedly have runabout to where they can come in and out, but the players can't. You have to have that whole thing on lockdown. Otherwise, you risk people getting contaminated because they're menandering around with other folks, you know. And, you know, as far as the family thing, you're talking about, you got the players who don't want to just be disattached from their families over a period of time, but you kind of have to do that just in case, you know, one of the other players get it and then you get it, you know, and you might be asymptomatic and everything, but you go to the house and there's grandma with her sweet potato pie, you know, and then that's that. So there, again, I just don't think, I mean, even with them testing every day, which technically that's what they would have to do. It's not like almost every other day. They got to do it every day. They have everything on lockdown. The arena lockdown, the staffs, everybody lockdown. The hotels, you know, once they're in the hotel, nobody else can come in. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, they got the money to do it. I mean, if any league could do it, it would be the NBA for sure, structure-wise and all that, you know. But a larger league like the NFL, I don't see how they could pull it off at all, just because how much more of a contact sport they have than the NBA. You know, because even with all the lockdowns and stuff, you're still talking about people and they're sweating and basketball and, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. It's like, it's communicable. So I don't know. And right now, because rates are going back up in lots of places like Florida in masses, in Orlando, you know, how are they even, you know, you got a lot of players already that said, I ain't doing it. And I think that's just the first wave. I think it's going to be more. And whether or not LeBron gets to the point where he might say, well, I don't know about this all of a sudden. I know he wants to win another ring, but is he willing to risk the kids? Right. You know, is he willing to risk his wife? You know, are you really willing to put them in jeopardy? And I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything I've heard so far says LeBron wants to play. Some of the other guys.
I think that was before Orlando popped up, though, man. For real, that was before. That was a week or two before.
It may be. I mean, but like you said, it's almost to the point where it's like you almost got to be quarantined. You got to be playing a season while you quarantine almost. You know what I mean? Because if people are just, you know, traveling wherever and going out to Orlando and then shooting down to Miami, you know, when they don't have a game for a couple of days, that could be a dangerous situation. Like I said, the main thing, like you said, is I think most players would be all right. But I mean, what if your wife suffers from like sickle cell or something? compromises her immune system. Something like that. That's where you got to really, really be careful right there. I don't know, man. It's not looking good. I don't know. At one point, I thought they had just about there with a deal for basketball. Baseball is definitely looking dicey. Football, I don't know. I think they're just trying to see what everybody else is going to do first. But they seem to say that they're going to play. I think, if I'm not mistaken, MLS is actually going to be the first one to come back.
Who?
In July.
Who?
If I'm not mistaken, around the middle of July. So
who's that?
it's interesting to see what they put in place as well. Soccer.
Oh, soccer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if they do without fans, I mean, it's still, you got staff, you got security, you just got all kind of random people. It's a matter of it has to be the lockdown of lockdowns. It has to be like the Pentagon being attacked or the White House and the bunker, kind of a deal, to where nobody is in or out during that time frame. It can't be that random person jumping the fence type of a deal, because otherwise that's the bomb right there. That's the person who has it, and they don't know they have it, but they just have to go see some sports, even though they're not allowed. But they think they're supposed to, So it's just those little things, and what about the water bottles or Gatorade bottles? How are they going to regulate that? And the basketball, are the players going to play with gloves? It's just going to be weird. Same thing with football. I mean, again, that is the ultimate contact sport. It ain't going to be no tag football. It ain't no flag football. So how are they going to regulate that? I saw those funky helmets that somebody put together to be like, well, let's use this as a respirator or whatever helmet. That could almost work, I guess, if it got down to it. But are they really willing to go that far?
It would make them less vulnerable.
Yeah. So I don't know.
As far as other sports are concerned.
Someone said they just need to play tennis and golf, and we have to be happy with that. So I saw that, man. I'm telling you, somebody on some radio show called in and said, you know what? All we need to do is just watch some tennis and golf, and we'll have to be okay till next year. Because the other thing is, it's going to be a lot. Go ahead.
I mean, I was thinking, though, in terms of baseball, especially when I was hearing talks of the 60-game season. And at that point, I mean, you're talking about a season that's almost one-third the size of what you normally play. And part of the whole thing about winning a baseball season is winning that war of attrition, that 162-game battle. I mean, if that was cut down some, that's fine. If it was 140 games, 120 games, 60 games out of 162, it's almost at this point, it's just like, why are you even bothering? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, just for the purity of the sport. I mean, a 60-game baseball champion, to me, that deserves a huge asterisk. Now, maybe I was talking to different with the Braves. Actually, was to put out at one.
No, man, by any means necessary now. Come on.
I mean, if we get it, I'll take it down. And I'll try it, but it just, I don't know, man. It just seems to be so, baseball more than any of the rest of them, such a shortened season, to me, would not be representative to what baseball is all about. You know what I mean? With the NBA, I was kind of excited about it a little bit. I mean, I think the Hawks were going to get a chance to play, of course. But the one thing I liked about the NBA, with all of them being in one city like that, was you're going to get 16 teams, no East or West, you know what I mean? Like, just seed it and see who comes out on top. So we get two Eastern teams in the final, two Western teams in the final. To me, that was something different, at least. You know what I mean? Refreshing. And you still get the true essence of basketball. But the 60 games out of 162, to me, that's just not what baseball is about as far as winning. Unless the Braves win.
Yeah, I mean, that's a point. The regular season is supposed to test you, through the rigors of a whole season. Are your players in good enough shape, to play all of that and to produce? And the ones at the end are the ones that prove that they were able to do that. If all of a sudden everybody was just 60 games, that means, anybody could win it. Like the Baltimore Orioles could win it all of a sudden. That wouldn't be cool, right? All of a sudden, the teams that haven't won 50 games in a while, all of a sudden are in play. And that would, whether or not they do an asterisk or not, I don't know. But people will look at it a certain way, and they all will know why. And so it's like, well, why even go through all that? If that's what it will be, and right now the one league that has a chance to actually try to play all their games would be the NFL, but that's really only precedent if the season gets started, because I think they'd have to stop playing if they continue, if they started and all of a sudden Julio Jones got it, Matt Ryan got it. Tom Brady got it. Tom Brady old now, he ain't no spring chicken no more. He's he's a little susceptible to stuff, So if all of a sudden Tom Brady got it, or worse off, one of the coaches, you got some old coaches out there, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, right? So what if they have to be there? They get, even if they're in the booth, they're there on,
You know how some coordinators like to be on the field? I bet you see every coordinator up in the booth.
And sealed up too, yeah.
The defensive coordinators on the field.
Give them
up in the booth with a mask.
Give them a mini fridge, put a porta potty in there, and that'll be it. 'Cause you ain't coming out. I'm telling you, that's what what else would they have to do? They couldn't. You're putting yourself in jeopardy coming out. Like you just would be, So unless, again, they test everybody and nobody else can come. Once the game starts, that's it. It's lockdown city, but can they control that? And I question it a little bit, because you're going to have that one sneaky person that's going to jump the fence or crawl under. They're going to dig a tunnel like it's Alcatraz or something, stupid stuff. And for the sake of, there's been no sports and they want their sports. Think about Vegas. Vegas was supposed to have their team. They don't have a team. They're not going to get this. They might not get to see their team. So if they do play, people are going to want to go. They done spent money, So it's going to be kind of rough, and it's just going to be interesting to see how they pull it off.
Yeah, that's the thing with the NFL, especially if you're not talking about doing it all, which would be hard to do to work out with the NFL too. Doing it all in certain concentrated places, because you talk about all those different cities. There's so many different situations. You're gonna have places like a New York City, where if they had a second wave, it could be much worse than if another place had a second wave. So yeah, that's actually the point. Yeah, and then also a place like Vegas, it's gonna be very difficult to keep players contained and not have them go out into the nightlife. People are going to want to go to the club and lean with it and rock with it.
I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I don't think it'd be that hard.
I'm telling you.
There's people getting sick.
There's going to be one or two at least. When I tell you the number of people I am seeing packed in Atlanta clubs is crazy. So players, when you talk about the NFL particularly, you talk about 53 players on each roster. That's a lot of players on 36 teams. Out of those hundreds of players, there's a small percentage that are just like those people in the club. And in fact, that's what they love to do when they're not playing ball. They love to go out. They just cannot let it go. I'm telling you. It will be a few. It won't be a lot, but it'll be a few.
Yeah. All right, so hold on one moment. Now, this whole first part of this experiment here, and I'm not going to do too much longer because it's almost midnight. I had my actual microphone back in, so later on the stream, I'm going to see if that helped on the volume side as far as you, because you're the one who's called in so far, Jordan. I'm going to take out the microphone now for the next few minutes and see what happens, what difference it is. So hold